Two debuts, The Poet Empress by Shen Tao and Emster Knows Books. Guys, we are going to be starting an incredible BookTube journey, and I want each and every one of you along for the ride. So don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. And today, we get into a debut that I believe will leave its mark on this year as a whole. The Poet Empress by Shen Tao is something special. Guys, so we're going to start off with something. Is this a romantasy book? Absolutely not. Negatory. No. If you go into this book expecting that, you're doing it wrong. It is not a romantasy. In the most non-spoiler way I can put it, she does not love this man and he does not love her. There is no, it doesn't take a lot to read to get into the book to realize this. I want to make it very evidently clear this is not a romantasy. If you're going into this expecting some, super dark, enemies to love, no, that's not this book. But what is this book? So to all you guys out there, this is like an episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I mean that in the best way humanly possible. Where Terran, who is the, emperor-to-be that Wei ends up, becoming betrothed to, we learn what makes him just so wicked. How did we get here? But we also learn it from a more outside perspective, and how Wei then comes through this information and how she can make her decisions about whether or not she truly wants to go through with the murder of a potential emperor. And I think, guys, first of all, I guess this will be a really good way of introducing sort of how I feel about certain stuff. The writing of this book, I think, is very, very tight. Like, the pace is very quick. There's not a lot of slow moments, but I also think that Shen Tao does an incredible job at immersing you almost right away. Like, you are from the very beginning hooked, and then you start to learn about the world and learn about the magic and learn about the characters and how they interact with each other and what their desires all sort of bring together. The book is a dark book. It is grim, but I also don't think that it's a pessimistic book. Like, the book's purpose is not some metaphor about today and how, things are just going to be doom and gloom and we're cooked. No. And how would I rate this book? So if we went off the pacing, I think the pacing is easily like a 4 to 5 stars. I do wish there was at least, so this book's only 388 pages, right? So pretty short. Beautiful, by the way. Gorgeous book. But I would end up rating it about like a 4.5 to a 4 out of 5, because honestly, I did want another 20 to 50 pages added to this, making it about 430, 450. And then I think this book could have been a genuine classic off the rip. But I think that as great as the characters in the world is, I wish there was just a little bit more time to slow things down, to give us a breath to grow and adapt with these characters. So with that, the characters are an easy 4.5 stars. I think some of them they're okay. Like, they're there. But Wei and Terran and Morrow and, guys, the dynamics and the relationships. So the dialogue, I think, is actually remarkable in some ways, because I think the way that characters portray their feelings, but then the way that Shen Tao writes how they look, how would I explain it? It's sort of like explaining how, someone could be telling you something that's positive, but they look negative. You know what I mean? Like, they don't look like they believe what they're saying. Shen Tao has a really good way of portraying that, to where even if it's something positive about the empire or the emperor, you can see in someone's face like they don't necessarily believe what they're saying. And I think that sort of stuff is excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I think the themes are pretty strong. Again, central message, I think, is really cool. And I think the delivery of the ending was actually pretty remarkable in terms of, I got very concerned. We're going to get into that in spoilers talks. This video will be a spoiler-free and spoiler discussion. The plot of the book, I think the plot itself is actually like a 5 out of 5. Because for me, it's simple, but at the same time, how we obtain the ending of the plot and how we get to different functions, I think make it actually really, really good. And again, I think that's part of what made Avatar: The Last Airbender so great, was that the plot didn't need to be this hyper complicated thing that either you're gonna hit on it, right? For me, complicated plots are legitimately hit or miss. There's no it was okay. It's either really, really good and it hooks you, or it's brother, no. You go back. Rego, editors, fix that one. Then the prose. I don't really care about prose, guys. You're going to learn about that. I'll probably make a video talk about how I rate and view books. I think the prose is good. I feel like it will take some really, really, really bad writing or something for me to ever comment on it otherwise. But ultimately, guys, I'm telling you, this is a debut novel. But I want to make something, again, very clear. And I think Shen Tao even mentioned it on her Ask Me Anything Reddit post that she did. I'll probably link that in the description as well so you can read it. But she stood she stood her ground. She wanted to make a epic fantasy story. She did not want to do a romantasy. She did not want to appeal to what at the time, I believe this book was like 5+ years in the making. She did not want to appeal basically to what was dominating the market. But I believe the book and the publishers tried their best to like market it as like romantasy. It's not. The magic system, I think, is genuinely really, really cool, especially when you get it tied into the plot and the characters and how this system works. I think is excellent. So I'd probably go 4.5 to a 5 on that as well. So what would I end up rating this book? You guys, I'm begging you to pick this book up. I have put on so many people. So I'm going to shout out some people right now. To the Ramble. All right. I'm in that Discord and server, and I love those guys over there. Their channel, link in the description. Guys, we got this. I got this to be our book club book for February. Besties, Beverages, and Books. Or Books, Beverages, Besties. However you put it. I apologize. Sherilyn and them over there. Got them to read this. They loved it. It's spreading, guys. I'm telling you, give this book a chance. Show Shen Tao that what she is doing is remarkable and that she continues to put out work like this, because I think this is just a lot of fun. The political intrigue is there. The character interactions are there. The dialogue, the feelings, and the immersion, which I think matters a lot for a book. It's all there. And this is just the first book that she's ever written or published. Definitely not the first book she's probably written. But I'm going to end up giving this like a 4 to 4.5 out of 5, guys. And I'm begging you to check this out. Like, I believe giving books like this love can really, really go a long way. And guys, this book is just gorgeous anyways. Like, even if I take off the hardcover here, right? Gorgeous end papers. They are the same on both sides though, so FYI, that's the reason I'm not really showing the other one. They're the exact same. But like, basically then you gut the different sides of the cover and you just get this gorgeous, gorgeous book. It's short, it's sweet, it's dark. Like, I will not, lie to you guys. There is a content warning in there. But I also don't think that it's anything, excessive. Like, I do not believe this book does dark things for the sake of doing dark things to be edgy and, different. And, ooh, this will get all the, the people who are, sadistic or whatever. No, that's not the point of it. It has a purpose. It serves its purpose with the characters, and you understand, the cycle of what's going on there. And now, before we transition into the spoiler portion, guys, if you are leaving off here for the spoiler-free part, I would give this about a 4 to a 4.5 out of 5 star, possibly higher, maybe a 4 on the lower end. But no matter what, this book is remarkable. Please, 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 please check it out. I'm telling you guys, it's awesome. It's fun. It's hooking. And at the end of the day, I want us as a BookTube community to try and look at a debut author, to start a new journey, to help these authors get even more of a chance, be, an empowering voice for these authors. But now we're about to get into spoilers. So, hey, if you ain't read this book yet, I love y'all, but bye-bye, bye-bye. I love you though. It's all love, I promise. But you gotta go. The spoiler talks are in 3, 2, 1 now. But now for all of my people that I'm here to talk to, the spoilers. Okay, so what do I think about this book overall? I actually think the best parts of this book are the Morrow and Terran flashbacks. That's where I felt like this book is legitimately the episode of Avatar that is called the Fire Lord and the Avatar, which is Avatar Roku and Fire Lord Sozin, I believe, and their dynamic and how they started off as friends and eventually turned to enemies, and how we got to the point, right, where Aang has to save the world. And just like that, right, we see Terran, who has been, again, content warnings, but domestically abused by his mother, manipulated, basically this kid who just wanted to be a good brother with Morrow. Now, him and Morrow are separated, and I probably should have mentioned this in the spoiler free, but Shen Tao does an excellent job at doing the political stuff here that is based on, the ancient China time period with some pretty good faith. Like, I would say that it's a fair and accurate representation, right? With these different, concubines with the emperor at the time, how they're trying to make sure that their son can be the emperor. And they had these things called sigils, which again, this is a spoiler, so you guys know that, how they have their power based on certain things. So one of them has fruit. One of them just straight up has knives. Terran just has knives. It's hilarious. Me and my buddies were talking about this in Discord. His son might end up pulling out a Glock, because that would have been his sigil if he was born. Like, it's incredible. But I think what this book showed so well on those ends with Morrow is the idea of pressure and expectations, right? He is the firstborn of that emperor. He feels like he has to do the most to become the emperor and to please everybody and to make sure that he can be the man the empire needs. Then you have Terran, who I think at his core is really a sweet and innocent person who just wants to help. But because of Morrow and the pressures that are there, because of the pressures that come from his own mother and how those interactions are then influenced, I think changes everything. Ultimately, I think that those flashback sequences are remarkable. There's a sequence particularly where all of this, by the way, is from Morrow's diary. And again, this is why it reminded me of the Avatar episode, because half the episode is Zuko reading the scrolls from Sozin and getting this stuff from his point of view. And there's this scene where, Morrow is basically letting his anger out on Terran. And Terran is just like saying, I'm sorry, because, oh, man, the emotional beats in this book, especially in the flashbacks, are remarkable. I did get very scared, though, guys. At the end, I genuinely thought she was going to save Terran and they were going to become lovers, and I was like, no. Dear God, sweet baby Jesus, don't do it, Shen Tao. You have been so strong. You have been so strong. Do not fold. This does not need to be romance. But she stood 10 toes on business. But I think the way she did it was excellent. Because this whole time, the only reasons we get these flashbacks and we learn these things is so that Wei can learn a proper, basically a proper killing poem that the ancestors will accept, which I also thought was excellent for the magic system. Because it isn't just basically, oh, well, if you have this magic and then you can just, write this poem out, therefore you can basically do whatever you want within the realm of your power. No. You have to write something that the ancestors will believe to be true, either from you or from them or whatever, to then have it become affected. That's where I think this book takes over and goes to the next level. Because again, I think the magic system is fun. I'm sure it's not unique. Let me know in the comments how unique you guys actually thought this system was. But I love the idea that the ancestors almost basically have to approve it. And again, it's the shackles of the past. It's the shackles of what came before affecting who's in the now. I think Wei throughout the book is a very interesting conversation of, is Wei still a good person? And in some ways, I would say yes. Because I do think her motivation for wanting to kill Terran, while at the very beginning, it was more so just because of how awful of a person Terran had become, which is true, because he basically murders a bunch of people just because, and he tortures birds and fish, and I mean, the dude's a freak, okay? I don't know how else to put it. The dude's a damn freak. And she's like, I can't let this dude become emperor. If he becomes emperor, we're cooked. So she sets out on this journey, right? She learns how to read. She plays the political game. And that's where I think things also become interesting, and why you could argue, no, she's still not a good person. Because she does indulge with Terran in the torture of those who have done her wrong, right? The Terran basically goes, yeah, we're going to torture this chick, honey, you want to join? And she joins and, partakes in it. She does manipulate and lie to people and ruin people's lives. So then you get, the classic moral question of, is the greater good justifiable and therefore makes Wei a good person? Because she does basically cause the death of Morrow, and then she does end up killing Terran, right? All in the sake of her goal. So I think that is a question that is going to be excellent for you guys to discuss in the comments. And then I do want to talk about the very ending. I was a little disappointed. And the only reason I say that is I felt things wrapped up too good And what I mean by that is, okay, I had no problem with Morrow dying, right, to Terran, right? Because in the end, no matter how hard Morrow tried, he was going past reality, right? Like he put himself, or not he put himself, but others put so much burden and expectations on him. He tried to be something that he couldn't be. Terran killing him made sense. And that's a great fight and a powerful moment and really good stuff. Then Terran sort of breaks down and Wei confides in him and goes like, it's okay, and then ends up killing him. That's all well and good. All that stuff I thought was excellent. Then we get the third brother, I believe, who is the guy, the Emperor of Fruit, basically. Like his power can provide food and, you know, resources and all these things, and he becomes Emperor. Another interesting thing about the magic system too is that when they become Emperor, their sigils become exemplified, so like their power is even stronger and more influential on the nation and the world and all that. But I think ultimately I didn't like the fact that basically the best dude for Emperor ends up becoming Emperor. She still ends up becoming the Empress because he chooses or is advised to take her as his wife. And it's kind of like the end. And I was kind of like, I thought the whole point of this book up to this point is that this title, this power, does end up corrupting everyone it touches, right? Like even the purest of hearts who want the best for the people of the empire, or want the best for whatever it is, it does corrupt them. But it kind of just felt like, well, we got the fruit guy, and the fruit guy's good, and the famine will be fought. And now Wei is happy because she's with this guy. She doesn't necessarily love him, but she can live out the rest of her life. And it was just like the end. And I was like, that felt too good. Like it felt too good to be true. It felt too, not contradictory, but it kind of goes against, I felt like, everything we had built up to. But again, I wouldn't, if you call this ending bad, I think that's just not true. Because again, you have to include that entire fight in the ending and the killing of Terran and all remarkable stuff. Like genuinely great stuff. I just thought like the very ending was a little like off key to what Shen Tao had been writing and playing for us. I also think Wei at times felt a little too much like the reader. Like I felt like at times she was almost too reactionary at times. Like it just became, I learned this information, then I went to get more information and I learned that information. So I kind of wish there was just a little bit more of her showing that change and that growth, or, you know, decline, even if you want to call it that, you know, morally. Guys, again, for a debut novel, it's gripping, it's fast-paced, an easy read, fun magic system, great character interactions, and it does provide very interesting moral questions and dilemmas. So more than anything, guys, in this debut video of mine, I am begging you to check out The Poet Empress by Shen Tao. I genuinely believe this author has a chance to become an incredible household name. And she's got a fan in me. I'll tell you that right now. Just about whatever she puts out within reason, unless it literally is some weird, creepy, I don't know, some nonsensical stuff. She's got a fan of me, and I'll support whatever she puts out. And I want you guys to join me on that journey, because this book is special, especially for a debut. So, we made it. The debut video. You guys sat through however long this video will end up being post-editing. And I'm sure future Emster is very frustrated with me. I am beyond thankful for you guys for sitting through, watching. Let me know what you thought about this book. I hope I was able to put you on. I hope I was able to continue this chain that I've been able to kind of grow, because I genuinely believe that this book is something special. And as always, guys, this was Emster Knows Books. So don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this book in the comments. Did I put you on? Did you find someone else who talked about that put you on? Whoever it is, give this book a chance. I promise you it'll be worth your time. So as always, guys, this is Emster Knows Books. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace out.